Very consummate and sagacious banker and the financial guru turned the clinical politician. Very revolutionary, transformational governor. A man that is recalibrating, re-engineering and reinventing the state of aquatic splendor into a state of excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Governor. Members of ESCO of Lagos State here present, especially
NDIGBOAMAKA has been on ground trying to tidy up the market environment too. Hence this event. It is a great honor standing before you today. I am overwhelmed as I will add another year to my year in the next 48 hours. And God made it possible for me to see this day. And to God I give the glory for making this thing happen on my next edition of the year. To God I give the glory. It is indeed a moment of joy and just celebration with special thanks to God for making this vision a reality. I am privileged to be used by God Almighty to visualize this dream and to align them this day with the active support of my members and co-traders. From its humble beginning in the year 2010, NDIGBOAMAKA Progressive Markets Association, the umbrella body of major markets in Lagos, remains driven by its passion to be the biggest markets association in Nigeria and become a global brand name for the international and national trading public. This is consistent to its mission and vision statement. The All Markets Conference 2022 with the theme Development and Sustainability of the Nation's Economy, the role of traders and government agencies, provides an avenue for critical stakeholders in the international share management to brainstorm on the theme for the interest of our nation. This conference was necessitated by an urgency to strengthen the increasing need for better management of its supply chain activities in the face of globalization and security threats to the supply chain, which now span to our port value supply chain management. There is also an urgency to rescue our various markets from house, who have almost taken over the major markets in Lagos, thereby impeding on the smooth operations in various markets, also disrupting the supply chain management, which I believe will also be addressed today. I sincerely wish, therefore, at the end of this cross-fertilization of ideas, better understanding of our respective roles in advancing the cost of development and the sustaining our nation's economy will be appreciated for betterment of all. I wish us a happy and fruitful deliberation as I urge you, our dear speakers, to seize the opportunities to tell us face to face what you think, what you feel, or you think we are not getting right with regards to the choice of the conference team and also on the compliance with trade processes. Sincerely speaking, we will appreciate if we can be properly addressed as a formal sector, rather than the usual referral as informal sector. It will be our honor if we can be so addressed as organized private sector after this conference. Finally, we urge you, His Excellency, the gentleman I've ever met, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to consider setting out a day to be celebrated and recognized as Traders Day in Lagos State. It is on this note that I want to humbly and respectfully welcome you all to this maiden edition of All Markets Conference 2022. We feel honored by your presence.
The new logo of NDIGBOAMAKA Progressive Market Association.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yes. That is the new.
So you can see the logo.
Yes.
Now taking off to China. Get container. Right. And it's going global. So it's all the movements.
Oh, yes.
You'll go and get it from everywhere. The President and I have just discussed it again. At the junction of Sunrise, I know that the path has also not been fixed. We have asked ITEC to go back to that road, to go back to that junction, and we're believing that in the next 2-3 months, they should complete that bad portion that will ensure that we can free that road. But that's not the only solution. As a nation, we realize that the Apapa port is heavily congested, and it has overlived the size that it was built for. And so the government, with the private sector, will start the construction of the Badagry ports. We have said so, and we're committed to it. It's receiving the final approval from the Federal Executive Council, and we'll have the land already for the Badagry port. But the good news is that the Lekki port too will be completed before the end of this year. Meaning that for your brothers and sisters, for my brothers and sisters who needs goods to go to the east or other parts of the country, they do not need to bring their shipments into Apapa port. From the Lekki port, we're doing a 6-lane highway. They can get onto Shagam Benin Express Road, and their goods can go to other parts of the country without necessarily putting pressure on the road in Lagos. These are some of the things that we're putting together to ensure that the cost of freighting, which I'm aware is very expensive from China and from other parts of Europe to Lagos, to Nigeria, very expensive. We can bring down that cost and ensure that all of the loss that our people are going to Togo and Lome and all of those places will be cancelled completely, because we will have enough infrastructure to keep our goods and to keep our port terminal operating in our country. So you will have the ports in Apapa, you will have Badagry ports coming up, and you have the Lekki ports coming up. So you have choices, as you go along the line. As a roundup, really, really, really is to thank you. Is to thank you for your support, for your cooperation, for your identification with our government. You have stood here this afternoon to formally and humbly endorse our second term in office. We take this with all sense of responsibility, because to whom much is given, much is also expected.
And efficient growth of our economy. The Ministry of Local Government and Community Affairs is highly honored to be invited by the Planning Committee of All Market Conference 2022, the umbrella body of the major market associations in Lagos State, to deliver a keynote address before the distinguished bodies comprising 58 major market associations in the state. Lagos State has a long history of migration, and today it is a metropolitan city with mix of people from different parts of the country, accommodating many tribes and ethnicities, accounting for over 60% of industrial and commercial activities in the state. This is as a result of its ease of doing business policy, which is rated 86.3%, a rating that is specifically and significantly higher than the national score of 56.9%. It is important to state here that the theme of the conference, development and sustainability of our economy, the role of traders and government agencies act, as it addresses the need to continue to create an enabling environment towards the development and sustainability of the economy of our dear state. There is no doubt it is in line with the themes agenda of our Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. It is important to note that one of the pillars of the themes agenda in the state government accommodates markets in the state. This is evident in the fourth pillar, which is making Lagos a 21st century economy. And it clearly shows that Mr. Governor regards market as an important sector amongst others. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our market plays a vital role in the economy of the state, and most importantly, in the lives of residents of the cosmopolitan city. Hence, the inclusion of market stakeholders in our programs in ensuring Lagos State becomes a desirable mega city.
The Lagos State controls more than 60% of trade. When I mean trade, I mean importation in Nigeria, I stand to be challenged. And being a governor of this state, I know how the pinches are there. When I talk about trade, it's not limited to buying and selling, importation. It employs all levels of trade, from clearing, from shipping, name it. When we now say the importers and traders are informal and they control 60% of the economy, it's now left for us to ask ourselves, if 60% is being controlled by who you call informal, so who are the formal? Like I said earlier, I have limited time to talk so that our guest speakers will have to tell us more about what is happening. The economy cannot go without the traders. Everywhere in the world, the traders are involved in policies. It's only in Nigeria where the traders are being told about the policies on newspapers and television. And I believe the caliber of people here, including the governor, will have to do something about it. The speakers, I know you are well trained to what is happening, and I believe that living here today will have a platform where the traders and all government functionaries work hand in hand to sustain this economy as it's done in other places in the world, or what have you. But we want to show you the love that you have given us, that has been with us, and the confidence we have in you. And people say, if you thank Nayo Super for what she has given you, she will give you more. Excellency, as we are giving you this by NDIGBOAMAKA,
one person, just one person.
It's for us, by us, to you. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Kudos to Lagos State Government. I use Lagos State Government as a typical example of what can be made possible. Some leaders from other states, when they look at development in Lagos State, they give up hope and think they have special situations like London, America, or Dubai. I try to remind them that 1999, prior to this current democracy, Lagos State was almost at the same level with many states in Nigeria. There were deliberate policy by the then military administration to grant Lagos to zero. I know it. People of substance were on exile, properties were abandoned, and then the few that are here just touched down to Lagos and moved to Abuja to see what we can pick, because there was really nothing to do in Lagos there. Today, here we are. Lagos State is a country inside a country. But the good news is that you cannot rightly tell the story of this success without the involvement of all of you gathered here. You are here as delegates representing about 58 major market associations in Lagos State. Yes, somebody had called the informal sector. There's really nothing wrong in informal sector, because the difference between informal sector and the formal sector is actually the private sector. The formal sector are the government-related organizations, the agencies, and all that. But you can take it upon yourself today to transform yourself to organized private sector, which I am more comfortable calling it. So if you look at this, you are traders, yes. There is also nothing wrong in being a trader, because truly your standing here is also a trader. Not only that, I was once an apprentice in my father's shop in Onitsha. That was where I started my life as a young boy in secondary school. And then, even though I'm the chairman of Nigeria Airlines, I am also a trader. What do I trade on? And who is a trader? If you have goods and services to offer, you are a trader. And in some cases, even Lagos State are traders. Because when they have new estates and they carve it out, they mark it out for development for you to come and buy, what are they doing in the process? They are trading. When I have issued tickets for you to buy and board the airline to travel, I've sold something to you. What did I do? I trade. So there is actually nothing wrong in the word trader. But unfortunately, some of our brothers have thought that being a trader is that person who should continue to exist in an informal and disorganized environment. That you are that person who will continue to trade in such a horrible market situation. I found time to go around some of the markets in this town. Not only in Lagos State, but also if you go to Ochenja Market, you go to Main Market, this is where these great people spend about 60 to 70% of their time. But that environment is so bad. I hope with the existence of this kind of organization and the effort you are making today, and their continued engagement with the government, he will also not only make policy that will favor you, but also take steps that will transform your marketing environment. I am glad that you have representatives of regulatory agencies, the customs, the NAFDA, SON, and all that. That's very good. But let us know that with a good relationship we have in Lagos State, there will still be a whole lot of input that can be made to make a difference in your businesses all the way from Abuja, which is the federal government. And how can you achieve that? By being together, by being strong and resolute, knowing what we want first, and following it the right way. I'm glad the governor is here. Some people have said he would have been somewhere politically. His Excellency, your best political outing is here today. You made the right choice, and my prayer is that coming here today, it will not be in vain. You will reap the reward. We are saying here that for you to achieve all this, you first of all need to know what you have, now what you want to solve your problems. There is what is called lobbying in a democratic system. You must be able to organize yourself to lobby for what you want. What affects Lagos State, you take advantage of the good relationship with the governor and lobby. But 60 to 70%, if I can predict that is your concern, can only be gotten in Abuja. But you know what? You can also achieve it being in Lagos together with the Lagos State. Election is coming, for instance. You have federal legislators in Lagos State. You don't just have to invite governors. You have to engage federal legislators. Because the customs people that are here can only implement what is in the tariff. They cannot change the tariff. But you can lobby the legislators to amend the tariff to suit you for the implementation of the customs. What's your first burst of in this lobbying? You are going to use your legislators, federal, National Assembly members, senators in Lagos State. So I will encourage you that come this election, engage them critically, engage them constructively. Present to them three major things you want them to work on in the appropriation, in the law, in the financial law. I will want us to discourage ourselves from the act of getting together under this group during the election for individual and personal aggrandizement. You know what most of our groups like this do is that when the election comes, few of us are selected, meet the politicians, make demands, and then they give us cola money. You know that cola money? If they have given it to you, they have already paid you for what you will do. You have customs here. Sometimes when customs are asked to do something, they can be a little bit shaky, and they'll give you other laws and reasons why it should not be done. I'll give you a personal example. In aviation, we used to have a running battle with the customs with issues of tariff, double tariff. And we sat together and said, we have to hold the bull by the horn. We went to Mr. President. He issued an executive order for zero tariff on imposition of aircrafts and spare parts. The customs refused to implement executive order because they said it has not been gazetted. They may be right, but we did not stop at that. We went further now to National Assembly. We engaged experts who prepared bills. We used lobbyists, and then it was passed as a law in the National Assembly. And the good news is that within 48 hours, Mr. President signed it into law. And today, aircraft spare parts coming into Nigeria are on zero duty, even without VAT. This is a typical example of what we can achieve as a group. And when you do that, the benefit is beyond their personal self. It's for each and every one of you who are gathered there in different sectors. We are having very serious problem with China. The number of months it takes you to get your containers here, right? You know, you need to, again, as organized sector, engage all the relevant bodies. They are not customs. They could be foreign affairs. They could be Senate committees in different areas. In this, we can help you. And all these we are talking about, you don't have to do it all by yourself. You need to get experts. But you should be able to have a pool of resources. Because it costs money to lobby in any part of the world. Are you aware of that? Yes. But you can do that. And the only way you can do that is that if you live up to your obligations as members of this group, pay your duties, make your contributions, and make donations where necessary. As long as you have the money in your pocket, we can also contribute money where necessary to help you. We will provide you the guidance, and we will recommend to you experts who together we will use to present the things the right way through the right channels. And where necessary, we will ask His Excellency the Governor, who has shown appreciation and recognized the existence, to put his weight by gathering all the National Assembly members here in Lagos to support whatever process that will be raised as a motion, as a bill on the floor of National Assembly. SON is here. NAFDAC is here. I do not encourage you to continue the relationship of cat and mouse between NAFDAC and SON. You can be partners in progress. If there is a reputation that you have your members who produce and sell fake drugs, it affects your market. Is it not? Cooperate with NAFDAC, expose those people to the authorities, let the authorities bring them to book, clear the bad eggs, and I trust you, you make more money selling the real and quality products. SAO is here. Their interest is to ensure that every product you have, whether it's stale or anything, has quality. I know the efforts the Lagos State government is making to reduce the number of collapsed buildings. If a building has to collapse, it could only be as a result of structural issue. It could be by bad design or by quality of the structural material. That effect could be because the iron rods are below gauge because they are fake. Cooperate with SON, but please, in all the policies we are making, the government agencies, you can now see that this body is organized. Reach out to them, have an open door policy, take their views before you make any change.
So on the boy scheme we are talking about, the university we know that will be passing through, that facility have been metamorphosed to this very state that most of us are. Some of us has been into trading, but they started from Hero Boy. So Hero Beer has been supplying us with beer. You can see everywhere, you can see my face, everywhere is lively up with Hero. May we all be hero in Jesus' name.
Bigo, I have to beg to stand on the existing protocol for want of time. This is very simple. To present this award to our partner, International Breweries Limited, Hilo. Abuna Onubala Tono Cross Oliver Niger, Asina Kabun Kani. So we are presenting on behalf of executive and all the markets of NDIGBOAMAKA these awards. And again, to whom much is given, much is expected. This one we partner is small. We need a bigger partner. I present this award in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much.